Hey everybody, welcome to February 16th MakerDAO community call. My name is David Utrobin. I'm a longtime community member at MakerDAO and foundation employee. I am a community development lead and I've been around for a bit of time. And so yeah, welcome to the community call. Today's going to be a pretty light one. We don't have a guest scheduled for today, or rather we did, but some scheduling conflicts happened. And yeah, so today, no guest. We will be instead, we'll be inviting Payton Rose on the screen, and me and him are gonna dual host. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. We're gonna dual host just a general, what's going on at MakerDAO session, and we'll look through the Maker Relay that came out yesterday, and we'll obviously take any questions and discussion requests from the chat. So if you're here on the call, absolutely feel free to jump in. And so I'm inviting Payton onto the screen. Hey, what's up, man?
Doing all right. About yourself?
Doing fine, doing fine. You want to introduce yourself and give people a little background as to who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Payton. I'm Pros 11 on the forums, and got started with Maker a couple months ago, and basically I'm active in governance and communications. So happy to be here.
Nice, right on, right on. All right, man. So today we're gonna just scroll through the relay and see what's happening. There's actually a few things that were really interesting this week. Off the top of your head, what stuck out to you the most this week, Payton?
Oops, there we go. Definitely for me, it'd be the Eurodai discussion. I think a lot of people are pretty excited about that, and Seb has really taken the lead and got that, I think, further along than a lot of other mentions of it have been in recent memory, at least.
Yeah, Eurodai has been part of the MakerDAO conversation since almost inception. At first it was SDR, and then the team came to their senses and realized a dollar pegged stablecoin is more marketable. And then there's always been this idea of creating other synthetic assets because DAI is like a synthetic dollar. The Maker system can be tuned to do anything, right? You can make Euro DAI, you can make pretty much any asset that you can get a good oracle on, right?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and I think even looking into it would probably teach us a lot, both in terms of governance and in terms of where the protocol can go from here. So definitely excited to be seeing that discussion.
Yeah, same. Were there any really big points that stuck out to you in that discussion? Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, my thing went down to the bottom and I completely lost it. So Seb brought up today that it is almost like a natural way for core unit duplication to happen, which was something that I was curious about before.
Right, because it would have to basically be an entire clone of Maker, right?
Right, which would mean other, potential risk people, potential smart contracts, oracles, everything, which would be a nice way to kind of get that redundancy we've been talking about.
So if we did a Euro DAI, would everything be connected to one governance smart contract, or would it be two governance smart contracts and two MKR tokens? Was there any indication in the thread what people are leaning towards, or what's logical?
I mean, you could go either way. I think mostly what people are leaning towards is, keeping it under one governance, but basically with two kind of branches there. Or you could even start with a Eurodai having its own core unit, right? Basically under this idea of launching the Eurodai program.
Right, totally. And in theory, you could basically just make a complete copy. You can copy one for one. I guess the only difference is there's a lot more DAI pairs that people trade on than Euro pairs. Actually, do you know of any Euro trading pairs? or any synthetic euros that do already exist? I think Stasis was doing something, right?
Yeah, there are definitely a few that exist, and I think Seb highlights them. Let me see if I can grab a link to the forum post here. But I know they're all really small is the issue at the point. Like we're talking maybe 30 million market cap wise. So
right.
Having another euro asset would be pretty huge just for the crypto community in general, I think.
Yeah, and if EuroDAI came about, it would be super easy to create like DEX pairs of it because, it's permissionless. So, as long as you're the one issuing, you stand a lot to gain, but who knows, man? Yeah, it's like a whole rabbit hole of like potential.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see where it goes and pitch in when I can say something useful at least. I just threw the link up to the chat there. So yeah, if you guys are interested about the EuroDAI discussion, go and give your voice.
Yeah, right on. Sweet. So let's go through this Maker Relay together. As just a quick overview of the Maker Relay in general, it's a publication that's put together by a number of contributors at MakerDAO. And these contributors are actually in the process of forming a core unit called GovComms. So they're behind Maker Relay, the governance call summaries, and a number of other projects. And so this is a really great publication. It comes out every Monday on the Maker Forum. There's also a Substack that you can actually subscribe to. I think it's on the bottom here. If it's not here, then we should add it here next time. Yeah, there's a Substack link somewhere, Payton. If you're able to find it, that would be super helpful. If not, that's okay. I could post it next week during the call. But yeah, so that's the Maker Relay. It covers everything that's happening kind of week to week at Maker, and it's a really, really great Monday evening read. So yeah, let's get to it. So votes for right now, there is no active executive vote. Right now, all of the attention and all of the action is happening on the governance polls. And actually, how many governance polls are open? 18 governance polls are open right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. And thankfully, right, there was that governance contract upgrade that happened late last year, and it allows MKR voters to actually bundle up their poll votes, which is really great considering the gas situation on Ethereum today.
Yeah, I think I was able to sneak one through for about like $27. So
that's
we'll
it.
See. Try your luck, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's voting at MakerDAO currently is a thankless job, but as we've seen on many of the MIPs that are being submitted, there's a lot of I guess hope that MKR voters will eventually get rewarded. And even so, like they're indirectly rewarded for voting. Like those thankless like 50 to 100,000 MKR that vote. I mean, their votes have resulted in 10x growth since launch, right? Even more than that.
Yeah, you could say they're doing a great job so far. So bringing value to their own token, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. So cool. So some weekly governance polls this week. Geez, that sounds so jumbled. We have a couple of UNI V2 LP tokens being pulled to be added as collateral types. That's the Aave ETH LP token and the WBTC DAI LP token. So that's pretty exciting. Actually, this week we had, what was it, 4 different UNI Vault types?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that's incredible, and they're listed a little bit lower in the Maker Relay, so we'll tell you which 4 in a second. There's also this DAI savings rate adjustment, which is a really interesting vote. It's the vote, I think, is to adjust it to like 0.01%, right?
Correct. So yeah, very, very small, but definitely increasing it. So curious to see how that shakes out.
Did you read, or do you know about any of like the reasoning behind this increase?
Yeah, so a lot of it, I mean, is PR for one, but I think I'm forgetting who originally pointed it out, but the idea is that a lot of integrations are building, and currently they don't have any incentive to like incorporate the DSR into their integrations, right? Because it's been at zero for so long. So by making a non-zero number, then all of a sudden by integrating it, you do give your users at least a little bit of something, and hopefully in the future, we are able to offer a little something perhaps, if that's the way the community wants to go.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and then there's like the even more added friction of if integrators do integrate the DSR, their contracts are less gas efficient, which is the reasoning behind why Compound actually uninstalled the DSR integration, because it was at zero for so long, and it was basically making it very expensive for people to go in and out of Compound.
Certainly. But I suppose as it gets leveraged up, even a very small percentage makes a huge difference. So,
yeah,
I think this is just a fundamental, like, are we willing to make integrations, still pay attention to this, and we'll see what happens after that, right?
Yeah, it's a nice little PR like push, like, oh hey, this thing still exists. Everybody was so hype about the DSR when MCD was launching that it was like it was like almost the central point of focus at the time, and then just being in the situation we've been in for the last half a year plus, there's just no space for the DSR. But it looks like there's at least a basis point of space now.
Good place to start, right?
Yeah, exactly. The other polls are to increase the system surplus buffer. This has also been a really popular topic of discussion at MakerDAO. We recently, as a DAO, increased it to 10 million. It was previously, I think, 4. And a 10 million surplus buffer when there's 2 billion outstanding DAI is the ratio there is quite small. So yeah.
And this one is a ranked choice vote as well, so that's kind of cool from a polling perspective. Get to signal all the choices in order, what you prefer the most.
Yeah, so the range is 10 to 30. Nice. Yeah, I really enjoy ranked choice voting from a UI perspective. It's like really nice. So props to the team if you're watching this. Let me actually close this out. Yeah, cool. So there's an increase of the surplus buffer. I think in the forums 30 million was winning out as an option. I mean, I couldn't see why not, especially considering DAI's growth right now. The other two are an increase in the maximum debt ceiling for ETH-A. This is interesting because ETH-A is actually the most popular vault on MakerDAO. And it's sitting at over 1.1 billion DAI issued against it, and so yeah. Do you have a good understanding of where this is right now, Payton?
In terms of
yeah, actually, I'm like reading this to start and asking.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry. Basically, just looking to bump up the line. So, as it says in the first line there, it is sitting at 1.5 billion. Like we are on the DCAIAM, so it is periodically bumped up over time. Right now, it's like at 1.25 ish in that neighborhood. So it can be walked up to 1.5, but this is another ranked choice polling option where you can say what you'd like to see the maximum set up to. Though I guess it is worth noting that promotion from Risk has said that if we keep increasing the line, invariably we're going to have to start adjusting other things like the stability fee, for instance, in order to keep up with the added risk from an ETH pullback.
Right, which actually is exactly what the rates group has been doing with their rates proposals. So recently, actually yesterday it was pushed, but ETH-A got a 100 basis point increase, a 1% increase, which it looks like there might be another increase coming soon if we continue to see growth in ETH-A. But yeah, it's certainly a big boy.
Definitely, and it's hard. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Like that's where it all started with ETH, right?
Yep,
So,
that was the first one. That was what single collateral DAI was built on. Just a singular ETH Vault type. Except back then they were CDPs.
sure, but very exciting to see it above that $1 billion mark. I mean, like obviously from a risk perspective, you're playing with big numbers, so caution perhaps should be observed. But very excited just from a cheerleading perspective of over $1 billion all from ETH. It's pretty impressive.
It is quite impressive. Yeah. All right, cool. And then the last, well, it's not the last poll, but another governance poll is to set up debt ceiling instant access modules for multiple vault types. And I actually think, so if I'm not mistaken, there was, did they actually already set some new IAMs for the debt ceilings?
So this is the second round of that. Mondays, when Mondays the two executive votes went live, I guess you could say one of them was for the first set of the DCIAMs.
Yeah, I see vault types added, stability fee increases and decreases, this thing, and then here's the adjustments in this neat little table here. So Uni A got a debt ceiling instant access module, Aave got it, Comp got it, Link got it, WBTC got it, and our favorite Iffy got it. Iffy Wi-Fi. Debate in the chat. Just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, as you could see, we are making use of instant access modules, which just make the whole governance process way more scalable. It reduces the amount of votes by quite a lot. Yeah,
definitely.
So moving forward, today is actually the first day of new greenlight polls, if I'm not mistaken. And so there have been quite a lot of MIP6 collateral onboarding applications submitted, as you could see. More than half of them, or just about half of them, are liquidity tokens, which, to Nick's credit, is certainly proving to be a very effective collateral type. So it's really cool to see these. Definitely,
and unique as well, right? In terms of offerings, not a lot of places where you can be posting those for collateral. So very exciting.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And also, a side note, the reason why the debt ceilings are staying at 3 million for now is, I believe, because the Oracle for LP tokens is still going through, I believe, an audit, or actually it might have just been completed recently. I will verify that when I read the Oracle's update. That's a little bit lower in this relay. But yeah, cool. Do you have any thoughts, Payton, on any of these specifically? I know, for example, Reno came on a collateral partner call recently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's worth pointing out. We point out there are a ton of the liquidity tokens, but also several real world asset tokens as well, with the Fortunify drop, London Digital Bonds, and the Reno there. So pretty exciting. Definitely we'll see some of them aren't off to the best start, I guess, with the votes, but still a couple days to go there.
Yeah, totally. Sweet. All right. Moving forward, so last week there were 2 different executive votes that were passed. One of them, I guess, we'll do the first one first. The first one onboarded 2 vault types, which were the DAI USDC vault type, the DAI USDC Uni LP vault type, and the ETH USDT Uni LP vault type. So that's pretty cool. And then, the global system debt ceiling, just some math that has to be done, was increased by these 2 $3 million facilities. So that was one. And then, Payton, you want to read through the next one?
Sure, yeah.
Push it up, make it a little interesting.
I was just gonna say on the last one, we're definitely watching to see how quickly those get filled up. I know on the first batch they're pretty instant. So far there is still room there. So curious to see how long that'll last.
Yeah, let's actually quickly check it out. So DAUSDC is still at 0. These 3 are not new. Yeah, it looks like ETH USDT has 500,000 right now, and Link ETH has, yeah, it's off to a slow start, but 3 million is not too large of a number.
Right, it could fill up very quickly for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and then the other one we have the I guess rates update as well as 2 more Uniswap ones.
Yep.
You're not seeing double. Yeah, that's also really exciting there. We just showed the numbers, and then the stability fees increase. There were 2 that I believe that decreased. Wi-Fi and what was it?
BAT.
BAT as well, yes. I got down at the bottom there, sorry. And I guess overall, that was netted about a $20 million annual difference if you were to extrapolate the fees.
Yep.
From when before this executive went live to after. So definitely pretty exciting from a protocol perspective there.
Yeah, it's also so interesting. Like the more vault types there are, the more, I guess, unpredictable like the rate changes are, because some decrease, some increase, but overall there's going to be some sort of change in that revenue number, in that annual revenue number, like every time there's a rate change. And if there's like 20 vaults being changed at once, it's going to be exciting every time there's a rate change.
Yeah, it stacks up pretty quick.
Or down. Just depends
if
DAI is above peg again, which thankfully it's not, which is a whole other really great topic to discuss, but maybe later. Oh yeah, and you missed one thing though. A really exciting thing too. That yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a big announcement. Sorry, that is 100,000 DAI is going to be transferred to the first kind of interim DAO budget. It's a multisig with 5 of the domain facilitators, and
that's right.
Yeah, that's kind of the first baby steps to the DAO paying for its own operations. So very exciting there.
Yeah, it is really exciting. People got to get paid, and this is before core units get accepted and formal budgets start getting approved and paid out. This is kind of that first step, and what's exciting is I'm like loading pages, and what's exciting is that 100K actually was already paid out, and I found out that it's actually, you could see it reflected in the debt available to heal value. So this used to be 12,700 for some reason, but now it's 112,000.
Yeah, that would be from the first distribution to the working group, the Vault Compensation Working Group.
Right. Yes, exactly. And so yeah, this was really cool to see. And when I first saw this, I was a little alarmed because I saw that the debt buffer was 50,000. But Long for Wisdom thankfully pointed out that in order for Maker dilution to happen and for MKR auctions to happen, this actually has to get healed first. So this number is subtracted from this number, and only when it's like completely evened out, if there is still 50,000 here, that's when you're able to actually kick off those flop auctions, the Maker dilution auctions. So yeah, fun facts for today with David and Pros. So yeah, going back to the relay. Yeah, so we're not going to cover like the specific numbers. I feel like y'all could read. There were a couple of signal requests that were active this week. One was to lower the PSM USDC-A tout parameter. The tout parameter is like you could think of it like a toll to get out. I think it's to actually trade DAI for the USDC that's in the PSM. So that's the tout. And so yeah, the idea behind lowering it is basically to incentivize, repaying DAI and getting USDC off of Maker's balance sheet. And so, yeah, that kind of delta where it's a little bit more expensive to trade for DAI, a little less expensive to trade DAI for USDC. It seems to make business sense. And so that's what that signal is about.
Yeah, and then the other one is for the instant flash mint module fee. Basically, that's a MIP that has been passed. I believe it's MIP 25, and the code is coming along for it. So Sam Hexnot went ahead and threw out the signal request to kind of ask the community what the fee should be for flash minting, and then that way, when the code's ready to go, there won't be anything else stopping it. We can just flip it online with the predetermined fee.
Yeah. And I wonder what is actually winning. And it's really nice that in the poll, they pointed out what the market competitor Aave's fee is, which is 0.09. But yeah, it looks like a 0.05 fee is gaining most of the support for now. But yeah, cool. All right, and that's it for like the votes section of the relay. The next major section of the relay is this update section. And for MIPS, I'll take this one. So yeah, there have been no MIPS formally submitted for the February cycle. So if any of you have been observant, there was no inclusion poll this month, and there is no bundled governance poll today. And likewise, there will be no bundled executive vote next week because there are no MIPS in formal submission. So the focus of Maker Governance this month, as I said on the governance call last week, is really to look at the MIPS and sub-proposals that are in the request for comment phase, which there are quite a lot. I think it's north of 20 proposals, if not more, even more than 20, probably even like 25 or something, but I didn't count. I just know that it's more than that. So, yeah, what were you gonna say, Payton?
It's a busy month. It's a lot of stuff in the RFC. So you can kind of see point by point here what each one of them are about, I would say, which is neat. So if there are any things you have opinions on and want to get your comments in, I know especially it's worth pointing out that the minimum, what do you call that? The minimum frozen period for proposals is going to be in the next executive. That's coming up here. So anyone who wants to submit theirs will have to get it locked in. So kind of last call for comments, I guess, for a number of MIPs.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the last edit that you can make to a MIP if you're planning to submit it for the March cycle is going to be on the 24th. So yeah, definitely be mindful of that if you're a MIP author, but also Charles and I will be reaching out to MIP authors to remind them and to just make sure that people are ready for submission. And also, so I actually took a stab at taking all of these MIPs that are in RFC and organizing them under commonalities. So
Awesome.
so here's my take on it. I'm not gonna like share it. I'll just go through the slide here. But yeah, there's a few standalone technical MIPs. So these are the governance contract redesign, the term lending module, the reward join adapter, the liquidations 2.0 MIP that was actually submitted finally for RC, and we're really excited about it. And then, just a standalone miscellaneous parameter proposal group proposal. There's a ton of payment-related MIPs. There is a handful of core unit-related MIPs that actually, I believe, are being submitted for March. There's a handful more of core unit related sub proposals, and there's a handful of PSM related MIPs, and then finally there's just 3 standalone sub proposals. So quite a lot, especially for payments. It really looks like the DAO is kind of kicking it full gear to make sure that it could stand alone apart from the foundation and that it could really sustain itself. So that's cool that the infrastructure is being built.
Yeah, that's a really neat breakout in terms of the MIPS. I think that's super helpful for people to have, because I think a lot of people definitely have questions, both about the core unit MIPS themselves, but also about all the implications in terms of, all right, well, how are you going to deal with payments? How are you going to deal with the governance things? And
Yep.
having the MIPS broken out like that is really great.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I know it definitely helps me with like, thinking about MIPS, because looking at a list like this, for example, like even when we were putting together the relay with the rest of the team, everybody kind of agreed that, yeah, this is a little daunting. It would be good to have like a little bit more, or like sub organization.
Right. I think it's one thing, when there's like 5 MIPS in RFC, but we're in full gear now, so we got
Yeah.
to figure out some organization.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, cool. So that's the MIPS update. And then we also have smart contracts, oracles, and risk updates. You want to do the smart contracts one, Pros?
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty exciting. They're moving right along with MIP 21 for some real world assets, getting that deployed to Covans to start testing. Hopefully, we'll get an update on Thursday for sure during the governance and risk call, and hopefully, we'll hear some good news on that. I know they've been working on it for a little bit here. Sorry, my screen's a little fuzzy there, but they're scrolling down.
Maybe I could get away with
Iterating on
zooming it from
DSS exec lib. Sorry, I couldn't read what it was. I had to switch to my tab.
No worries, no worries. I zoomed in a little bit. Hopefully that helps with the
Oh, that's
resolution.
awesome. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
No worries.
So again, good to see that smart contracts work.
What is DSS exec lib?
I was kind of hoping you knew, so this is a little awkward, but
Exec.
let me
I
do
mean,
a search here.
using the powers of inference, exec library sounds like the smart contracts team is creating exactly that, like a set of templates for common executives. So like the most common ones are probably going to be debt ceiling, instant access module, like line increases, maybe stability fee increases, like just a ton of different ones. But I assume that that's what that is.
That can make sense. I know Brian has put together a number of really cool things in terms of being able to call multiple lines at once, and even if it's not that, like, nice work, Brian. great to see you doing all that cool work.
Huge praise to the smart contracts team in general.
Yeah,
they are MVPs for real.
Keep it all running for sure. Obviously, working on Liquidations 2.0 is going to be a huge priority for them going forward. As well as the DEF CON spells, I imagine, just in terms of keeping the protocol safe and functioning. And like we mentioned earlier, the code for the FlashMan module is coming along. So hopefully be seeing that shortly.
Yeah. Okay. So similar question. What are DEF CON spells?
So there's spells that would be used in an emergency situation, right? So depending on if certain liquidations need to be shut off or other parameter things need to be unwound or temporarily halted in order to deal with an attack vector.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a decent explanation for them.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I was looking for. So cool. Yeah.
Awesome. There's a lot to know in Maker for sure. So it's always like sometimes you think you have a pretty good idea of what something is, and someone else is like, "Well, kind of." You're like, yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm really enjoying this dual hosting, because anything I'm not totally certain of, I could bounce off of you.
So it's a good combo for sure.
Yeah, redundancy, baby.
Awesome. So that pretty much does it for smart contracts. I guess we can go into oracles.
Yeah, let's do it. So for oracles, Nick let us know that CF drop and WBTC DAI assessments are in the works. CF drop is a real world asset collateral. WBTC DAI, I believe, is referring to the UNI LP token for WBTC DAI. Either that or sushi. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's probably the UNI LP though.
Yeah, I believe sushi ones are coming, and in theory, they should be pretty similar from an assessment standpoint.
Yeah, right. There haven't been any sushi green light polls yet either, as far as I know. Diego wrote, "Great things are being biddled."
I saw that. I know. I think it was Monet Supply tweeted that he would be happy to submit a few if no one else is working on them the other day.
Yeah, and I think I saw some in the forums. I just haven't seen the green light polls for them yet. It's exciting stuff. Yeah, so besides that, there's an audit in progress for LP token oracles in general. That's one of the main constraining factors for the debt ceilings on those vault types. And then there's this other thing that Nick brought up actually during the last governance call. It was more of a discussion question around oracles. So if the current gas fee trend continues, we may end up paying around 16 million a year just for gas costs to update our oracles.
Yeah, that's a pretty staggering figure, right?
Yeah, it's you know, it was basically a third of our revenue up until yesterday. Now it's like a fourth, but still, like that is a lot of money for gas costs. And what's even more kind of, I don't want to say the word alarming, that's not the right word. But what's even more kind of mind-blowing is that the oracles did already go through like an infrastructure upgrade, and they were gas optimized, and there's just a ton of work that Nick and his team did to improve oracles on the gas side. And even so, we have to figure out, what are we willing and not willing to do as a community. What are mitigation strategies? Like one option is to start to delist vaults that don't have high usage. I know, like generally speaking, that's like not a great idea because they could just be latent until somebody does end up using them. You never know when a vault might become useful, like in the snap of a finger.
Right, and we've already put in all the work to onboard them, and
Yep.
so definitely kind of like cutting your losses. Not always a good feeling.
Yeah, you don't want to take those steps back if you worked so hard to step forward.
Definitely, and I guess it does kind of loop well into what we were talking about with Eurodai up at the top of the presentation, where it's like,
Oh yeah,
it could be useful to like exploring XDAI and all these other in terms of porting the Maker system. Could get some valuable insight on if that would be possible for the oracles. I know Nick kind of expressed some doubts about the feasibility of transporting oracles to L2.
yeah.
And I think definitely right now, right, there's no way, but currently things are developing, so definitely something we want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, true. And then there was also like another mitigating idea is to just tune the Oracle parameters to basically update like a little bit less. So I think right now they're programmed to all update if there's like more than a % movement in the price of any given collateral. But increasing that to maybe 1.5 or 2 might save 5, 10, 15% on overall gas costs. So there are other ways that that Maker can approach kind of dealing with the gas crisis on Ethereum pretty much.
Yeah, definitely, and it was nice to have that discussion during the risk call and know that we got a lot of smart minds thinking about it and aware of it. So
Yeah, totally.
And if anyone does have ideas that stem from that, like, please do bring them to the forum, bring them to the calls, and we can start working towards a solution.
Yeah, right on. And then so the last team update is from Risk, and so they have a couple of uni LP token risk evaluations in the work. One for WBTC DAI, the other for Aave ETH. They put out a report on liquidation auctions so far in 2021, which was really cool. I believe, actually, yeah. So if you want to dig into these, go for it. But it is really, really cool to see all this data, unique bidders, the amount of zero bids received on each each of the liquidation auctions as they've been analyzed, and just a bunch of takeaways. Yeah, Premotion, the whole risk team, it just produces such high quality information about this stuff. So definitely take a look at it. Major alpha leak right there. And then yeah, they're focused on liquidations 2.0 moving forward. So I think they're going to be coming out with a forum post that recommends some parameters. They probably won't be too far from what's current, but of course, yeah, with the DAI supply where it is now, there definitely might be some more substantial changes. But who knows? We're just going to have to wait.
Definitely.
You want to take the first of the current events?
Yeah, absolutely. This was a really cool feature that was posted from, I believe, the foundation I've been working on, vote tracking for the voting portal. And yeah, I've been playing around with this quite a bit. I wish. Hopefully it loads here in a second.
1 year. There it is.
There we go. Like, yeah, you can check polls, actual votes. You can search particular addresses. It even shows you like the amount of MKR they've held over time in the voting contract, or in governance rather. It's a lot of really neat features, and definitely, at least for me, kind of helps make the case for like governance rewards, showing like how many people and how long they've really stayed active.
How do I see more? I want to know the whole title. Maybe if I click this, let's see.
Yeah,
I'm actually curious.
Yeah, usually they are hyperlinked. Yeah.
Activate DS Chief 1.2. Yeah. Oh, this is so good.
Yeah, so you can even see like that period of time. Remember when people moved it back to the chief because they didn't like one of the contracts, or there's some drama there. But you can actually see those spikes in time.
So interesting.
Right.
So this actually brings up a question. So I remember there's the mkrgov.science dashboard. Do you know what happened to it? It's just broken?
Yeah, I guess I think it was the chief update, in fact, that basically changed something that made it not work, and the team, not the entire team, is still around. So.
Got it. Oh man, That's unfortunate. Well, at least we have replacement dashboards and tools.
Yeah, like a lot of cool DUNE Analytics stuff as well. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Always check the GovComms communications. We'll be sharing all the cool tools for you.
Yeah, this is MakerDAO Alpha, internal alpha. But anyway, yeah, cool. And the second current events thing that we decided to put on this list was that Yearn Finance, who was the victim of a flash loan exploit. I don't know if they're calling them exploits or just like hacks. I don't know. Exploit. We'll leave it with exploit. Yeah. So in order to actually pay their users back and make everybody whole, they issued, they diluted the YFI market cap. So they printed, I think, 6,666 YFI poetically. And then they used about 1,000 of them or something to in a Maker Vault, and they printed, I think, generated 9 million DAI against those YFI, and they used them to kind of make things right with their users. And so that was really, really cool. It's kind of like one of the first instances of permissionless bailouts, or like permissionless credit lines to other DAOs. And so because of Maker, YFI had access to capital in a pretty straightforward way, which is super powerful for protecting users, for increasing confidence in the space. And it's going to be a really interesting thing to see how they manage that vault into the future, how quickly they decide to pay it off, if they decide to just leave it as a position into perpetuity. It's going to be really interesting to see how they manage it.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, really showcases our current as well as future wide spectrum of customers and of people who can really benefit from the platform we have here.
Absolutely. And then the last thing in the current events was we actually covered it in one of the executive votes.
Yeah, exactly. Just that multi-sig wall being set up, and there are the tags everybody that I believe it's a 4 out of 5 multi-sig. So basically, for them to fund any events, they have to have at least four of those 5 parties sign off on the transfer.
Yeah, powered by Gnosis, right? I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, really, really cool. And if you're curious what the actual 100K is for, I think it was outlined in the original thread that's down here. And just for fun. Actually, I guess it's not outlined here. It's outlined in another thread.
I think it might be on the actual vote. Let me pull that up.
Let's see. You might be right. I remember there was a thread, so I guess maybe it's in the poll, because, oh no, yeah. Oh yeah, here. So it's in the actual poll, right? So yeah, so 40K was for a quant stamp audit, I believe, of the PSM module. The PSM development was almost 12 grand, and then the deployment, the gas expense, was $1,100. So yeah, that's at least 52K of the expenses, and I believe the rest of them are for something else specified somewhere else.
Yeah, I believe it's just an estimate in terms of ongoing work for hours, for
that's the same thing.
Any additional things for the PSM.
Yeah, basically, I guess it's discretionary spending at some level. But I could have sworn they put up like a larger rundown of that 100K. Yeah, I should be able to find it somewhere, but I guess not right now. But yeah, cool. Yeah, that's it for the 3 big current events that happened this week. And yeah, and then one of the final stretches for Maker Relay, it also has this really great section inspired by Vishesh Chowdhury's segment on the governance and risk call called The State of the Peg. And as you can see, DAI is strong. Actually, I wonder, yeah, it's down here. Yeah, DAI is strong. We made it over 2 billion, as we mentioned. The biggest movers are YFI, Link, and Uni. And yeah, most vault types are dominated by quite significantly large positions. And so this is what the peg looks like. And it looks pretty good. It looks like it had a tiny spike on Monday here. But all in all, we are pretty damn close to the dollar compared to the latter part of 2020, or maybe even most of 2020. We were slightly above peg, and between adding on all of the different stablecoin vault types and introducing the PSM, the peg corrected, which is really, really nice to see. And also the insane DAI supply growth that probably also contributed to the health of the peg.
Definitely. And yeah, the PSM has just been incredible. You'll see those, they spike right back down. Just take someone to arb the price back down.
Yeah. All right, sweet. This is pretty cool. This is actually taken from that DUNE Analytics dashboard that you mentioned. How many vaults total created by how many creators? Yeah, that's the one. So Payton just linked it. All right. Yeah, here's what the 7-day DAI volume weighted average price looks like. As you could see, it's a nice shaped bell curve right at $1. So very nice to see. With volume at
1 billion. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's quite something. That is amazing.
Because obviously a lot of people use it for yield farming, where it kind of just sits in a particular place, but clearly a lot of different reasons to move the DAI.
A lot of trades happening. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the 0, 0, like, just take off this one, right? I'm just putting my finger on my own screen physically, and it's $1. It's $1 with 2 zeros behind it. Yeah, super exciting. Yeah, so the Eth Vault collateralization ratio has pretty big buckets. Yeah, Tim does this really great thing. He's the one who mainly puts together the section every week, and he goes into like specific vault facilities, and he kind of looks at them a little bit deeper. So as you could see, like for ETH A, there's 2 really big buckets for 370 and 600% collateralization, which is really, really good. Here's like the liquidation wall. So you could think of the shaded in area as DAI supply, and this line just being the price at which this amount of DAI gets liquidated. And it looks like there's a big wall at $1,600 ETH, and that corresponds to about 54 million DAI that would get liquidated if that price were to be hit, like right now, this instant. But of course, vaults are dynamic. Users have the ability to add collateral or wipe DAI as the price crashes. So, this figure might look a little smaller if ETH were to approach a $1,600 price.
Yeah, it is neat on the DeFi Explorer. Maybe I'll post that link, but it does show what vaults are protected by like DeFi Saver and stuff. It's kind of a neat UI thing.
Yeah, can you post it? I'll actually pull it up for the video recording so people are curious what you're talking about. Yeah, so I'm gonna pass through this, but feel free to check out the Maker Relay and look at some of the stuff. Yeah, he goes into Link, he goes into Uni, and then the very last one, yeah, Wi-Fi printer go burr and whale go splash into 600% collateralized vault. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the Wi-Fi team doing that one.
Yep, definitely. So posted the link to DeFi Explorer there. Just a neat tool you can use to look at different Maker vaults, and including your own if you have one. And if you scroll down, it actually showcases it in the top 20 there. A little further, see that green symbol in the middle there?
Oh, right here.
That indicates that their vault's linked up with DeFi Saver. So you can assume at least, hopefully, some functioning autonomy there.
It's a lot of debt. 30 million DAI.
Yeah.
Well, at least this guy could sleep at night because he's protected by automation.
There you go.
Although honestly, in this like congested network, high gas prices, even automation kind of scares me. What happens if DeFi Saver screws up?
Right. Or gas prices are too heavy and they don't get through. Like, are you really ever safe?
Yeah, exactly. The tail end of Maker Relay highlights some articles that happened this week, some videos that happened this week. This was actually another community call that happened around blockchain for humanity. A pretty interesting discussion that I didn't watch, but I should if I have time during my lunch break. But yeah, and then just a forum deep dive. It just lists a handful of the more interesting or active forum posts of the week. Yeah, and then yeah, our team selects a tweet of the week, sometimes as a joke, sometimes seriously. And this one we decided to highlight Hasu, who pointed out that Maker is having incredible success. So yeah, just a bit of our own, scratching our own backs with Twitter influencers. So yeah, that's the tweet of the week. And then the rest is just meetings and events that are happening. So that's more informational, nothing really to talk about there. So yeah.
Yeah, if I could just plug the article that's linked there. I guess pretty exciting note that Grayscale filed a Delaware trust for like an MKR. Basically, in theory, to use as the same way they have their trust for Ethereum and Bitcoin on the broader stock market.
Yeah, they opened quite a few. They opened quite a few. So, what does that tell you? I don't know.
So nothing in particular, right? Because like you can open a trust and then never do anything with it, but
Yeah,
it does at least seem to indicate that Maker's on their radar, right? And you'd have to assume that if a trust like that incorporated, it would have tremendous buy pressure on the MKR token just from having another easily accessible avenue of investing in it.
yeah,
But obviously speculation. So
yeah.
I just think it's exciting that the project's getting noticed and
It is nice. I hope my tweet that I put up yesterday gets the tweet of the week next week. I feel like it was very you know on point, accurate. I don't know if I should be saying these things about my own tweets, but hold on, where is it? Yeah, there it is. Here, I'll show it I'll show the meme magic for the community call. Yeah, crypto Twitter was so negative about Maker for so long. All of a sudden.
very, very true.
But anyway, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. Yeah, cool. It looks like we're like right on time. We have about 3 minutes left. Is there anything anybody in the chat would like to make sure we mention or to cover or talk about? And likewise, Payton, anything we missed?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Covered a lot of ground there. Always
Yeah.
a lot going on in Maker. So like, if there's anything we didn't cover, like, let us know because we'd love to cover it. Just so many exciting projects going on, and just a really exciting community to be a part of.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. All right, with that, happy Tuesday, everybody, and I hope this was valuable to you, whether you were here live or watching in the recording. And so, yeah, we'll see you on the next community call, which I believe, sorry that I don't already have this page pulled up, but I believe it's Opolis next. Is that right? Yeah, February 23rd, Opolis. So with the core units, there are service providers that kind of help core units do certain things. So we had Accountable do a presentation on one of the Collateral calls, and and they basically provided a service for core units where they would receive payment from the DAO on their behalf, and the core unit would be able to have all of their accounting handled. Payouts of people's compensation in fiat is possible. Basically, it gives core units a lot more flexibility to work with people in ways that they're used to. And then likewise, Opolis is a similar type of service provider, though it is different from Accountable. And it's going to be cool to see them on the call next week.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing all about that. So see you all next week.
Yeah, see everybody next week.